Hi, all of you aspiring match candidates. I'm Dr. Umar Khan. I am done with my internal medicine residency, but I wanted to go over a couple of main questions that people have when they are looking to apply for the match. We are going to go over the main factors that lead to match success. Then, can you actually match with a low score? Now, of course, we only have USMLE Step 2. Of course, we do have Step 3 as well. We're going to talk about that. Then how to have excellent personal statements and resumes. I'm going to give you some tips on that. And how can IMGs build a solid network? So you are an IMG, you don't know too many people in the US. How can you go about dealing with that? All right. And then an important question, is research experience for IMGs important? Should you be getting research experience? What type of research experience is important? How will Step 1 pass-fail affect? Now we have Step 1 pass and fail. Back in the day, Step 1 had a score. And how will this affect an IMG matching? Because this could be detrimental for IMG. But if you play your cards right, then you could actually see success. How year of graduation and old graduates match. What is in for these individuals? How to handle pre and post interview communication. A big question, right? So you get an interview, how do you communicate with them? And I'm also going to have a link in the description of the 25 most common questions that are asked and their template answers. So you want to check that out, you can check that out for a link in the description. If your application season is coming up and you want to get a head start on your Q's and A's, or you just want to grab a copy of those 25 questions and answers, then you can check that link out. Because I'm discussing a lot of points in this video, I'm going to talk about the main aspects. However, for almost all of these points, I will have dedicated videos for each of these questions. All right, so number one, the main factors. We're going to talk about this right now. So the main factor, of course, is going to be that they're looking for an individual that is good in almost every aspect. One aspect is your scores. Definitely, if your scores are higher, that is a definite plus. Nowadays, for international medical graduates, you need to have a reasonably strong score in your USMLE Step 2. If for some reason your score was low in your USMLE Step 2, I suggest that you go for passing your USMLE Step 3. And then it goes without saying that international medical graduates should not fail a single step. Nowadays, I have seen people take Step 1 lightly. However, there is a 25% chance of failing. Based on the stat that I was reading from 2022, around 25% people actually fail. Now, I do realize that international medical graduates do fail at a much lower rate. However, if you fail, then it's going to make an already difficult task much more difficult for you. And I want to be a realist in these videos because I don't want to sugarcoat anything that yes, you have a low score and you will be matching. I don't want to do that. That will be doing a disservice to you, and that is of course not my intention. However, I'm going to try to just lay it out there and give you my opinion and experience that I have seen over the years. Then the aspect that IMGs should consider, that they should be looking to apply to at least 100 programs. They need to have their research done, and later on I will look to have videos on IMG friendly programs. However, the more programs that you apply to, the more chances that you will get an interview invite. Of course, you just cannot blanket apply to a program that you have no idea about. You have to know that, okay, these programs are known. They have been taking IMGs in the past. So the more you apply, the more interviews you will get. Then an important factor is that you have to be ready. When the application season opens, you have to be ready with your application to submit. Because a lot of programs, they start downloading applications in the first week, and they may have their interviews scheduled by the end of September. So you cannot be late. You have to have your things lined up. You need to have everything ready for September when you have to apply for this match season. And then a crucial mistake that people make, they get too cocky, they get too confident that they are a stellar candidate and they forget to match a program. For an IMG, unless you from your country are a rich individual and you are okay in not matching for a year or two, and you think you are too confident that you don't want to put down in your rank order list all of your programs, or at least as many as you possibly can, you should be putting as many programs on your rank order list as possible. I have seen IMGs who were very arrogant and they said, okay, they will match in their first 5 choices. Don't do that. To increase your chances of matching, make sure you are ranking as many programs, unless of course, you only want to go to these first 2, 3, or 5 programs that you like. However, I do not recommend that unless you are a rich individual with rich parents, which most of us do not have. Then, because step 1 is out of the game these days, you need to be a well-rounded individual. And if you have significant volunteer experience, that gives the program director or the interviewer, when they are actually making their own lists, it gives them an idea that yes, this person is more than just the scores. This person is more than just what they see on paper. This person has a lot of volunteer experience. This person demonstrates a commitment to service and patient care. If you have significant experiences, make sure that you do mention it in your application, in your CV. Then networking, I'm going to talk about that. However, you need to communicate, you need to collaborate, you need to talk to individuals who are already in programs. If they're able to pull an interview for you, that is good. But don't think that interviews only come through contacts and connections. In my experience, about a quarter of your interviews will be coming from your contacts, if you are an average or a reasonably good candidate, right? And remainder will be coming through your own application. So take this very, very seriously. Of course, recommendations help. Remember that you should not be careless and you should apply and not just rely on your contacts and your connections. All right, next, can you match with a low score? And a lot of individuals who have, let's say in the past, or if you are still an older graduate and you have lower scores in your USMLE step 1 or maybe even step 2, then if you have both low scores, then it does make it a little tough for you, especially when a lot of programs have filters with lower scores. So now when you do have a lower score, this is when contacts make a huge difference. And this is when any significant research experience or extensive US clinical experience can help you out. Because if you do have extensive US clinical experience and you rotate it through numerous programs, then there will be people who will look to get you an interview invite if you did well during your rotations. And I'm going to have a different video on how you can excel and shine among all the other candidates who are rotating through a program and how you can get an interview invite. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. However, if your scores are low, make sure you still have knowledge and you can still show and demonstrate that you are not any less than anybody else. Of course, when you are able to get your foot in the door, while high scores are favorable, a low score doesn't automatically disqualify you as an applicant. And if you have good recommendation letters, your personal statement is up to the mark, you have excellent clinical experience, or back in your home country, you are a postgraduate fellow perhaps, or you have extensive experience, all of these things do help. And again, a compelling personal statement that addresses any of your weaknesses can make a huge difference and can help people see through a particular low score. Now, how to have excellent personal statements and resumes. Honestly, the personal statement is my favorite part of the application because it lets you showcase your passion for the field that you're looking into. Be genuine and be concise. Highlight your strengths and explain any gaps or weaknesses. Remember, your personal statement is not your CV. It's your chance to tell your story. So make sure your resume is clear and focused, emphasizing relevant experiences and accomplishments. However, your personal statement needs to be personal. You need to shine yourself into your personal statement. Anything that drives you, anything that motivates you, any reason for that gap that you have in the middle. What were you doing during that time? Or perhaps you are an older graduate. What were you doing? Have you had any other clinical experience? What can make you shine as a resident who will be a useful addition to the program? Of course, I don't want you to be Shakespeare, but double make sure that the English is proper, the grammar is great. Make sure you use the help of ChatGPT. You write it yourself, give it to ChatGPT. ChatGPT, I am writing my personal statement. I am not a native English speaker. Please correct any grammatical issues in this script. Nowadays, with ChatGPT, there is no room for spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes, because all the people who are going to be reading your personal statement, if they see that this guy is so careless that he is messing up or she is messing up with punctuation or grammar or spelling, I will personally not invite that person for an interview. Then how can an IMG build a solid network? Let me use a different color than orange so it looks a little better. Networking is crucial. I would recommend that if you are in the US perhaps, well, of course, if you are doing observerships, make sure you are not a hermit. You're not sitting in the corner or standing at the back of all the observers over there or externs, and you're not saying anything. You have to speak up. You have to, if you know the answer to a question, speak up. Be confident. Of course, don't be silly and don't ask questions just to waste people's time. Make sure you have a question that is relevant. Now, this here, you are entering into major leagues. This is not kindergarten where there is no wrong question. If you ask a really stupid question, then people will certainly notice. So you have to be ready. You have to be prepared. You have to show that you are a capable and able individual. I want you to volunteer to give presentations. I want you to attend conferences, engage with people on social media in a healthy manner, right? Don't be creepy. Reach out to your potential mentors. For recommendation letters, prioritize those who know you well and can provide specific examples of your skills and character. You need a recommendation letter that is personalized, nothing that is generic and they're copying from 10 other people that they have written a letter for. If, for example, they say that, okay, can you write a letter for me? Then make sure it is a reasonable and a good recommendation letter. Make sure it is good. All they have to do is review it and sign it. Don't be over boastful, but of course be truthful. But of course, you have done what I just told you, and that you have to be a good observer or an extern or an intern. Use that to write a good letter. I would even suggest that when you're asking somebody for a letter, say that, hey, if you're okay, I can come up with a letter and you can go over it and then you can edit it or adjust it as you like. Is that reasonable for you? And the second question that you should ask is, are you comfortable in writing a strong recommendation letter for me? And I can help write the letter by writing it myself and forwarding it to you for review. Do you think you will be okay with something like that? And be open with them, because if they say, no, I don't feel that I can write you a strong letter, that's fine. Maybe you did not perform good enough when you were rounding with them. However, you have to ask because you need a strong letter. You cannot have a weak letter that will actually hurt you in your application. So just to step back, if you are in the US and if you are in a city where there are residency programs, I want you to search and see if they have any events coming up. They have a research day. Just go there, reach out to the program coordinator and say, hey, I'm in the area, I'm going to be applying. I just want to see how is your program. Is it okay if I attend your research day? The thing is, you have to do this, and this may get your foot in the door. Then is research experience for IMGs important? All right, so research experience can be a significant asset, especially if you're applying to research-intensive programs, university programs. And that generally means that you have abstracts submitted, you have had poster presentations, you've had first or second authorships, right? And you have had oral talks. All of these things definitely matter. Does not necessarily need to be a top-notch research institution. Does not need to be a top-notch university program. Any program would want an individual with some research background, because every program looks to have their candidates go on for specialties, and specialties require research, and they would be happy. However, if you are all research and no clinicals, then this could be a double-edged sword, which may create an issue for you if a program is a basic community program. However, they would want somebody with research experience. They will not, turn you away. However, if you have a huge gap, for example, you have been doing research for the last 2 years and you have not had clinical experience recently, then you may not be well suited for a community program. So keep these things in mind. So you have to balance your research with clinical exposure to maintain yourself to be a strong candidate. Then some individuals actually have a strong research background, even PhD or a postdoc research position. So again, a postdoc research experience can be a significant advantage if you're applying for research-intensive programs. It shows that you have conducted high-level research and you can contribute to any academic environment. However, it can be a disadvantage if it creates a long gap in your clinical experience again, and programs may worry about your clinical skills if you have been away from patient care for too long. So again, balance your research with clinical exposure to maintain your clinical competence. Then we have step 1, pass, fail, right? In the past, we had a score for the USMLE step 1. The change to pass and fail for step 1 means that programs will likely place more emphasis on your step 2 scores. Moreover, other factors like medical school performances, clinical experience, and letters of recommendation will become even more crucial here. And it is essential for applicants to highlight their strengths and address any weaknesses, as I said, in their personal statements. Now, a lot of program directors know that foreign schools may not list your school performance as accurately as a US school would. So if they don't have experience regarding your school, then I think losing your step 1 score or having just a pass-fail result in your step 1 may actually be detrimental. If you are a more well-known college or school in your own country outside of the US, then that may not be a problem because they know, okay, these graduates are pretty good. However, when they're looking for US graduates, they know what their school is all about, and they can look into significant details about how this kid was performing during their medical school years. So if step 1 is only pass and fail now, of course you cannot fail. If you fail, then I think that probably would be the end of your journey. Although there are rare exceptions, on the whole, that would be the end of your journey. However, you need to get good step 2 scores. And for some reason, your step 2 is low, make sure you are passing step 3. Let them know that, hey, step 2 low score, I just had some tough luck, but you can see I am a good candidate nonetheless. Then we have year of graduation, and how important is that, and what can all graduates do? It definitely is true. I will not sugarcoat this. Programs prefer applicants who graduated within the last 3 to 5 years. However, if you have a significant gap, it is important to explain what you were doing during that time and how has that prepared you for your residency. If you were in your home country and you were in a postgraduate program, then yes, you have significant clinical experience. And if matched, you will hit the ground running on your first day of residency. Highlight that. And you can even put that at the top of your personal statement. I may be 5 years from graduation. However, I have extensive clinical experience. Put that as the opening line of your personal statement. Make sure they know about it. Now, it may be difficult because a lot of programs may have a cutoff in their system. So at this juncture, at this point, your observerships, your externships, your research experience, your contacts all play and matter in getting you that interview invite. So again, here, connections, collaborations, contacts matter a lot if you are an older graduate, and make sure you have something solid to tell them that, hey, you're old, but you are gold. Actually, I just made that up. But yeah, you're old, but you are gold, and you are probably more valuable to them as a resident than probably a candidate who is just 1 or 2 years out of their medical school. Then you get an interview, how to handle communication with your program. Now, it is essential to be professional and concise with all of your communication. Pre-interview emails should confirm your interest and your enthusiasm for the program. Post-interview emails can provide updates to your application, such as a new publication or a significant achievement. If you are now done with your step 3, which was of course not available previously, but keep them brief and relevant. They are okay. They want to communicate with you. They want to have a sense of an idea whether you are truly interested in the program. However, don't bombard them. Make sure you send them messages that are relevant and that add value for yourself. All right. So hopefully this was helpful, and if you want to have a list of 25 questions and template answers, you can check out the link in the description. Hopefully that helps you out in kickstarting your interview preparation. To conclude, I want to highlight that IMGs do play a vital role in the US healthcare system, and currently IMGs comprise about 25% of the physician workforce, and the demand for physicians is projected to increase, providing more opportunities for IMGs in the future. However, you have to do this right. You have to do this right because less than around 50% match in their first try. So it's very expensive. A lot of people are depending on you to succeed, yourself and your family back home. So make sure you do this right. Anyways, I'm Dr. Umar Khan. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any questions, let me know. I would like to address those questions in my future videos. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.